This lesson is your definitive guide to niches on TikTok and Reels and how to know what you should be posting about. We'll be going over some of the most frequently asked questions we get, like, should I start a new account? How do I know what topics I should post about? And how do I know if I'm straying too far from my niche? To start off, I want to illustrate why it's important to have a consistent niche and why straying too far from your content theme could destroy your account. I'm gonna do it using a strange analogy that hopefully will stick with you every time you wonder whether a content idea is gonna work for your channel. Picture this. You are a passionate bird enthusiast. Birds are your world. While scrolling, you stumble upon someone who is putting out absolute banger, grade A bird content, so you give him a follow. Let's call this creator Feathered Fred. His videos captivate you so much that you find yourself rewatching and even binging through his channel. Now, thanks to your engagement, the next video that Feathered Fred uploads is going straight to your feed. A few days pass, and you're scrolling through TikTok or Reels when in your feed, you get hit with someone showing step-by-step how to do an MMA wrestling move. You think to yourself, how did I get hit with this? But then you realize this is Feathered Fred, and he's creating content about his second passion, MMA fighting. You have a decision to make. Is his bird content good enough to also get hit with bone-rattling smackdowns that make you a little sick to the tummy? Or do you unfollow and find the next birdie that's gonna stay in their lane? Reluctantly, you decide that the bird world is big enough without Feathered Fred's martial arts side quest, so just like that, Fred loses a loyal follower. Don't be a Feathered Fred. If you stray too far from the thing that made people fall in love with you and your content in the first place, you could potentially be losing fans by the millions. Not only that, but you're likely losing the opportunity to even reach those fans in the first place. This is why we always stress the importance of finding a format once you've found your niche. Using this same bird analogy, let's do an exercise. Your niche is bird content, so we'll put that at the middle of the diagram. Now, we can start by creating two columns for the value we plan to deliver: education and entertainment. First, educational bird content. This will be things like the best kept bird watching locations, DIY birdhouse builds, bird facts, history of birds, and on the entertainment side, we'll have things like behind the scenes of bird photography or guess the bird, win the prize. As you can see, making these short lists of value-driven content ideas has already begun to generate potential ideas for a series of content we like to call a format. Something else you'll notice from the list of concepts we created is that some of the concepts are only going to resonate with avid bird watchers, while others might also reach people with only a mild interest in birds. For example, you're only going to watch the best kept bird watching locations video if you go out every other weekend birding. But you might watch the guess the bird win the prize video all the way through, even if you're only mildly interested in the actual subject. At the end of this video, we'll dive into how broad of a net you should be casting with your niche. Now that we've done this exercise together, I want you to pause and complete the activity for your own niche. Take 10 minutes to come up with 5 ideas for both entertaining and educational content. When you're finished, pick your favorite from each column. Those can become 2 formats to try within your niche. Moving forward, every time you create a video, I want you to ask yourself, will the people who've watched my videos so far enjoy my next piece of content? For Feathered Fred, this could mean anything related to birds, from binocular shopping adventures to bird-themed fashion. Now here's something you might be thinking, but my favorite creator shares all of their interests and they get millions of views on all of it. So I want to take the Fred analogy one step further. Let's say Feathered Fred decides to hold off on posting the MMA Smackdown. Good job, Fred. You've now been following him for a few years and you no longer watch for the birds. You watch for his magnetic personality and how much joy he brings you every time you see his face. Now, when he does come out with his MMA move, you recognize him and you think to yourself, if Fred loves it, maybe I can give it a shot. If you've added enough value to your community, eventually you can become the niche. This happens with all of the largest creators on the planet. For example, Joe Rogan can talk about anything from aliens or tech to diets and exercise. His audience trusts him enough to come along for the ride, even if it's nothing they've ever even considered being interested in. Time for our next most frequently asked question. How do you know whether or not you should start a new account? You need to think about everyone who's watched or engaged with any of the content that the channel has put out so far. Are those same people gonna love the next content that you're planning on putting out? If the answer is no, they are going to destroy your watch time and any chance of getting past that first 500 view mark on TikTok or Instagram. If you're starting from a personal account that's mostly followed by family or friends, consider whether your family or friends are actually going to be interested in the content that you're planning on putting out. If you'll be creating golf content, chances are your family and friends aren't all avid golfers, so as much as they may love you, they'll still scroll past your hole-in-one challenge. When you start a new account and reach the right people, you can grow exponentially faster. Now, most of you probably know your niche and the type of content that you want to create, but some of you might not. For those of you just starting out, you're probably wondering, how do I know what I should create content about? And our answer is always the same. What do you love? What could you talk about for hours without getting bored? That is your niche. It's also about what you know and what unique perspective you can bring. Answer these next questions in point form with whatever comes to mind. No wrong answers. And even if you already have your niche picked out, do this anyways, just in case you can learn something new about yourself. All right, what do you think about when you daydream? What are your favorite hobbies? And what do you like to chat about with friends over a cup of coffee? Within this short list, you should begin to see a few opportunities, whether it's Hollywood gossip, starting a small business, hiking the Himalayas. If you love it, so do a world of other people, and they're just waiting for someone to create content and spread that love. You will grow exponentially faster if you're creating something that you're passionate about, because people can detect when someone is speaking from the heart. Even if you thought you knew what your niche was, it's possible that this lesson sparked something deep inside of you that you're more passionate about than the content that you're currently creating. And even if you have thousands of followers, it's almost always worth starting over fresh if that's what you're truly passionate about. I want you to remember that students like Jerry Carey have gotten over 100,000 followers in 1 month from 5 videos. So when you figure out the niche that you're passionate about and a format that people will want to watch, you're gonna grow faster than you could possibly imagine. Now, the final question we're constantly being asked when it comes to niches: how broad or specific of a niche should I choose? And this answer depends completely on your goals as a creator. Take Mr. Beast, for example. His goal is to become the largest, most viewed content creator on the planet. So his content reaches the broadest audience possible. His niche is interesting to practically everybody on earth, because you don't have to have any specific interests to want to watch a video where strangers compete in a challenge for millions of dollars or to own a private island. Now, let's say your goal is to sell poodle merchandise. There are 2 ways that you can approach this extremely narrow niche. Number 1, you can share content that only poodle owners will care about and connect with. You would use poodle hashtags and speak directly to that audience. In this case, you might only get 10,000 views on your videos, but if all of those people are poodle owners that connect deeply with your content, you're probably gonna have a thriving business. The second way you can approach a narrow niche is to cast a wider net. Still create poodle content, but make it interesting to everybody in the larger niche of dog owners. This way, you still reach millions of people, but your message will hit those 10,000 poodle owners. It's up to you to decide whether you want to live in a specific niche that resonates deeply with your target audience, cast a wider net and bring your audience in with it, or mix the two like we did earlier in the bird watching exercise. I'm going to give you a quick example. With Khan's golf channel, if he creates a video like how to escape a bunker in golf,
I'm stuck in the fucking bunker,
that's only going to resonate with passionate golfers, because those are the people out on the course every weekend playing the game. That video isn't valuable if you're never planning on getting into a bunker in the first place. So his expectation is that this is likely going to get 30 to 50,000 views, but those people are all passionate golfers deeply resonating with the content. Now, let's say he brings his girlfriend, who has never golfed, out to caddy his round.
If we can make par, I'm taking her to Aritzia to get anything that she wants.
I'm in, but what's making par?
You don't have to be an avid golfer to find that interesting, so it's gonna reach a broader audience. It might not resonate as deeply with the people who play every day, but it casts a wider net and opens the audience to millions more people. That video has almost 5 million views, and you can tell that it reached a broader audience just by going into the comments. I want you to take a look at your goals as a creator and have a think about whether you'll reach them faster if you're resonating deeply with a small niche audience, or if you can cast a broad net and still reach everybody that you need to, or in the perfect world, if there's a way to do both at the same time. Okay, to summarize everything in this lesson, your niche needs to be the thing that you are endlessly passionate about. You should start a new account if you're venturing into a new niche or content theme. You should decide whether to focus on resonating deeply with a small audience or cast a wider net. And then the most important thing, will the people who have liked my content so far like my next video? That's pretty much everything that you need to know about niches. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.